In episode 31 of the Metabolic Experience podcast, we had a really fun episode. We talked about a bunch of questions we got from our Instagram feed. We talked about Rick Ross. We talked about Lil Jon and the East Side Boys.
We did.
We talked about a whole bunch of stuff that you guys are definitely going to want to listen to, including how to swing up heavier kettlebells, any suggestions on training through injuries or how to prevent injuries. Check it out, guys. You're not going to want to miss it. And as always, screenshot, repost the episode, and talk to you guys soon. So are you one of those people where when you work out, you feel like you have a ton of energy afterwards, or do you feel like taking a nap? Because I just did a workout that you designed, and I applaud all of these people that working out gives them energy too, because I'm one of the people that when I work out hard, I would like to take a nap. A nap sounds lovely.
I've gone both ways. Immediately, it depends on what I do. Post-workout, typically, I need to sit down for a long time. I feel like it takes, what I'm amazed at is the people that finish their workout and then immediately, get up, start cleaning up, or I need to lay down on the floor for a solid, 5 minutes before I can get up and move again. Then I feel like I've got a decent amount of energy. But, if I was to go, when we come in here and after a workout, we come and sit and do, computer work, I'll be exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm dead. But if I was to keep going, coaching classes, it helps me a little bit. So I can go either way.
Yeah, I think the analogy for me is, I'm just going to keep bringing it back to alcohol because I've been drinking a lot lately. It's the
Happy
summer. It's the
I
summertime. I'm coming off vacation, drink every day.
Right.
Pretty social summer these days and the weekends. I don't see that slowing down anytime soon. So I'm going to keep using this analogy. But I think it's like doing a shot of something because right after the workout, I'm with you. I need to catch my breath. But once I do, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty alive, so to speak. And then all of a sudden, it just hits me an hour later, like a ton of bricks. And I'm just coming down off that high and good God, oh my God. So some workouts when I do my calisthenics workouts, those give me energy. Those wake me up, but that's not it's the level of fatigue that builds over time. And I suppose if I was one of the types of people that didn't go crazy hard, that it would be different.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I think I'm with you. I get pretty destroyed, but as crazy as it sounds, I am so looking forward to feeling like you feel again. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where right now, I can't push myself to that extent. I can't do these things, and I can't wait to be able to get back in the gym and work hard and feel exhausted.
So can I tell you something?
Yeah, tell me.
You're about to push yourself a lot harder than I've ever pushed myself.
Oh, it'll be.
I promise you that.
I think that's why they say
I would go through double dipped workouts every day for the last 9 months. I'm not joking. Than to give birth to a child. There's no question about that.
I was talking to Brian last night because I was in a mood yesterday. I don't typically get into moods.
You're actually of all the oh God, I'm gonna get myself in trouble here. Should I say it? Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. Of all the women that I've known, you are by far the least moody.
I appreciate it.
I think that's why we get along so well.
That's right.
Unless you're the best actress I've ever met.
No, I don't typically get moody, and I can check myself before I wreck myself. When I feel myself getting moody, I generally can be why are you being moody? This is stupid. Life is great. And then I get over it really quickly. But yesterday I was just in I was in a bed with my feet were swelling and I was just kind of over it. And so last night before we went to bed, I was apologizing to Brian for being kind of moody during the day. I was apologizing to Brian.
What is that? You gotta tell Kara what that is, because
she's never wrong though. So.
She's never wrong, and I've probably gotten less than 4 of those from her in our almost 20 years of being together. So
I did. I felt bad about it, and he had said that he was what you're about to do is you never have to apologize to me right now. He's because what you're doing every day, it doesn't even matter. It was very sweet of him to say that stuff.
And you're 9 months pregnant and you still let him hang out with me and drink beers on the weekend, which is awesome.
I honestly
so we're going to be really, really nice to you. Aren't we, Brian?
I'm telling you, I think if I go into, let's say by some sort of a miracle, I go into labor on
I
Saturday.
know he was texting me about
And
this. I
Brian's
know where
drunk.
you're going with this.
I feel like it's going to help him through the process. I really think.
Can we not say this?
I just think he needs to take the edge off a little bit.
It would make for a hilarious story. I mean, he would literally have to take an Uber to the hospital.
I think it would make a great story. I think Gino would love that story someday.
Gino, just hold out for even one more day. That would be great.
Well, my mom is on vacation this week, and my whole family is actually on vacation this week. So this would not be the week for Gino to come. So I think we've talked. Next week. Next week will be clear.
Right, I want you taking it easy. I don't want you going up any stairs. Nothing that will induce that.
We'll wait until next week, and then we'll start all the induction processes.
Yeah, it's funny. You in your last podcast, you talk about how women can gain weight during their menstrual cycle for a bunch of different reasons, and like the hormonal stuff affects not only like water retention and stuff like that, but appetite as well. And Lindsay was lecturing me about it because I know nothing about this, and. By the end of it, I kind of looked at her and I was like, so basically we get one good week with you guys every month.
That's all. You get one good week with us. We get one good week out of the month in general.
Which means we get one good week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's funny. You were talking about not being, and I was saying you aren't very moody. Yeah. Kara, and I'm going to say this because I know she doesn't listen to this, but this will be a test to see.
This will be the episode that she does.
I'm not afraid anymore. I'm going to say it. No, Kara.
You heard it live, folks. Yeah. This will be our last episode with Matt Phelps because he's dead after this.
Oh, God. Find something wooden right now. No, so Kara, this is how her day goes. She wakes up, and Kara's a pretty high-strung person. So she wakes up, she's got a million things going through her mind, gets Keaton to the daycare person, and works out, and she's in a great mood. I mean, she is honey this, sweetie that, making me breakfast. Life is good. Everything's great. I come home from work after like my afternoon shift or whatever, and I can see that she has spent the day with a 2-year-old or a good chunk of it. She's
just had it.
And like, it's just like a transformation.
Yeah.
And I walk on eggshells. I don't say anything. I try to empty the garbage. I try and get out. Try and empty the
Whatever
dishwasher.
Whatever you need to do.
It's funny, Kara. We moved because Kara wanted a bigger kitchen.
Yeah.
I'm still not allowed in the kitchen. Like even though we have this huge island, and I'll like try to tuck myself into a little corner to like slice my strawberries. Yeah. She'll be like, "Get out of the kitchen. You're taking up all my space." And I'm just like, "Oh my God, I thought this is why we moved." But I don't fight it at that point in time. You learn to pick your battles over the years, for sure. For any men out there listening, you win some, you lose some. You're going to lose more than you win. So if you think you have a shot at winning, you better be damn sure.
You better be damn sure.
Yeah, and you better pick your spots wisely. Very, very wisely. And Kara, as much as I'm teasing her, she's a lot like you. She's really cool about still letting me get together with my college and high school buddies, which I really appreciate. But if I know I want to do something like that, it's brought me back to like my teenage years of asking my mom. Yeah. Because there's an art and a science to it. Like if I know I want to go to the track with Brian and Bill on Saturday, and I haven't asked Kara yet, I have to. There's a certain mood that she needs to be in. It reminds me of being like 15 years old again. You got. She's in it. You go morning. You go mid-morning, right after the metabolic workout.
Feeling good.
I don't think I've ever asked her for anything at night because that's just.
It's not the right time.
Or I'll pull a cowardly mood and like text her, so she can't engage. Yeah. Did I tell you how much I love you?
You don't look in the whites of her eyes.
No, I don't. So, all right. Well, we have some Q&A stuff to go over today with you guys, but. First, a lot of it, Lindsay and I were just talking about tough workouts and what gets us through these hard workouts. And I think music is one of the things that can really alter your perception of if a workout's hard or not. I've literally been going through a very hard workout and a song I like comes on and I'm just like, let's go. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. So what is your favorite pump-up song of all time? Like, you have to pick one. I know it's hard. And then I'll pick one.
So it's funny, so I'm obviously preparing to have a child, and they said like you can play music when you're giving birth, and I think most women choose like Anya and like really like relaxing to keep them. And I was wondering, and earmuffs kids, if I could play I'm a Motherfucking Beast because I can't think of the person that sing that. It's
he like yells song. It, right?
Oh, it's from that movie Southpaw.
Is that a rap song, or
It
is it
is.
kind of like a?
It's
like
like
one of
a.
those
It's like
hybrid-
a rock.
Yeah, like a
rap
rap
song, but
Yeah,
it's
I
like
know
a
the
rap.
song.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, like when I can vividly remember Clifton Park. Anytime that song came on and we had goblet squats, like Tina was going up and I was squatting it a million times.
But
so I think for
isn't
me,
it crazy though? You can feel like
oh yeah,
the energy. It's
oh
crazy.
absolutely. So like that is absolutely one of my favorite pump up songs of all time, and I might squat my child out to "I'm a Motherfucking Beast" in a couple weeks.
Yeah, so mine, and the trainer at Metabolic. So at Metabolic, we've designated one of our trainers who's an amazing DJ, Drew
Yeah.
Smith. He picks all of our mixes, and I swear to God, I think he's my age. First of all, I'm not convinced that he's 10 years younger than me, because his knowledge of music from my time is unbelievably stellar.
Yes.
It's incredible. But so Drew knows this about me. But when the Lil Jon song "What You Gonna Do" comes on, it doesn't matter how tired I am.
I love it.
I'm gonna swing Bertha up and squat.
And you're doing it.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna
The floor press
Yeah,
is
the floor
just-
press gets
yeah.
lighter. Everything.
Burpees
I
go
actually love
faster.
that. It's called, I think the album's Kings of Crunk from Lil
Okay.
Jon. It's from like the mid 2000s.
Can we get mad at King of Crunk t-shirt?
I swear to God, I would run
Yeah.
through a wall if that album was
love
playing.
it.
I used to live to that album. It never got
Yeah.
old. Phenomenal album. There's another artist in mind who I like working out to a lot of music. I like
Yeah.
EDM. I like anything with a hard beat. I
Yes.
like EDM a lot. I like hip hop. Although the new stuff, like I don't like that like whiny hip hop that
Yes.
like where those guys, Young Dro or whatever, half these guys are. They're all Lil and Young. They're all Lil and Young.
Yep.
And I actually really like hard rock a lot.
Yeah.
And it's funny, my brother-in-law, we actually, you gotta be in a certain mood to listen to it. We were driving down to Narragansett, Rhode Island for the family vacation last week. And my brother-in-law, Will, to paint a picture, and just to show you that you can't ever stereotype music.
No.
Will is 6 feet 6 inch, 235 pound, best looking black dude you've ever seen in your life.
That's right.
And he likes Disturbed. Like he really likes Disturbed, and like you know that about him.
I
because
know
you worked
that
with
about him, 'cause I
so
love
me
it,
and
yeah.
Will listened to like Disturbed for like a solid 35 minutes on the ride down, and
See, I can't listen to that kind of music in the car because I'll get like road rage.
Yeah.
Like,
it was helping me stay awake for sure.
that's
but
true, that'll help.
But like Will grew up in Queens. You would just
Right.
think it's all hip hop all the time,
Right.
but it's not.
Yeah.
And I have a theory about this. Tell me what you think about this. I think music is a lot like food. I think like you like what you like, and you
Right.
can't be like trained to like chocolate.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you know what I'm
that could
saying?
be, yeah.
But like some people like chocolate, some people don't.
Right,
And
right.
music just has such a cultural alignment, almost
Yeah.
more than food, where
Right.
it's not cool to like a certain. I see
Right.
this a ton with older clients at the gym. People in their, geez, I won't even give an age. I
Don't give an
I don't
age.
want to offend anybody, but people who are from generations prior, let's say, I see them bopping their head to like 50 Cent, or
Mm-hmm. Right,
and
right.
I'm like, wow, you like this song? And
Oh,
they're like,
yeah.
I love this song. And
Yes.
so, and
Yeah.
it goes the other way too. I see a lot of younger people, like an older hip hop song that came out before they were born. We were watching a workout today, and one of our trainers, Elena, she was next to me, and what's that Marky Mark song, Good Vibrations,
Oh, yeah,
came
yeah,
on.
yeah.
I was like, Elena, you were like a
Yeah.
thought in your father's brain when
Right,
this song
came
came out
out.
in 1991, and I think she was born in like 95.
God, that's
So
crazy.
yeah, it was just nuts. But yeah, that's mine. How about like in terms of a guilty pleasure? Do you have
so
like you're a little embarrassed? You're not embarrassed easily.
I'm
but
not embarrassed easily, but I will say my guilty pleasure,
Don't you dare
like
take mine.
I won't. My guilty pleasure workout song is it's by Paramore, and I don't sometimes like indie rock music.
like emo
It's got
type
it's
stuff?
like a little emo.
Yeah.
And it's called Misery Business. And anybody that has ever worked out in one of my classes when the song comes on, or has trained me when that song comes on, I love it. I love it. It jacks me up, but it is such a like cheesy emo. I don't know why. Misery Business by Paramore is totally my guilty pleasure song.
I don't think I can't. That song does not ring a bell, so you have nothing to be embarrassed about. I'm gonna listen to it on the ride home.
You
though,
should
and then
listen to it.
I'll be the judge of that.
You've
Yeah.
heard it before in
Yeah.
class, I'm
I
sure.
don't. I kind of like some of that emo stuff, but so if you've ever taken a metabolic class
Mm-hmm.
and you've worked out, and you've heard a variety of our playlists at this point that are all professionally DJ'd mixes.
Yeah.
You might be thinking to yourself, why do I keep hearing the song No Scrubs on every single mix?
And if you weren't thinking it, now you're going to.
And I swear to God, if you pay attention, it is on every single mix because Drew Smith knows that one of my favorite songs of all time is No Scrubs by TLC.
Every time it comes on, I still laugh to myself and think, like, out of all the songs to like, why No Scrubs?
I'll tell you why. I think honestly, like...
Do you, like,
You know when you're in, like, junior high or middle school or whatever you guys call it,
Yeah.
where you're listening from, but those songs in that age group of like 12 to 15, they really stick with you.
Sure.
So I think I probably like had a crush on some girl and like
Right.
I would put that song on and, you know, picture her while I was playing basketball or something stupid like that. And I just put it, but I like the song. So
Right. It's just funny because it's like a bunch of females singing about
yeah,
like
but Lisa
men.
Left Eye Lopez is a badass.
She is. She
I mean,
was. R.I.P.
Yeah, well, that's right. She burned Andre Rison's house to the ground.
Damn.
Who was an
Yeah,
NFL
I mean,
football
yeah,
player that she was, I think, married to. And
Right,
so
right.
she didn't
Yeah,
fuck around.
she didn't want no scrubs.
Yeah, so
Were you equally into No Pigeons?
No, I mean, No Pigeons is okay. You know, what's kind of funny about that song to me is that song came out years after No Scrubs came
Right.
out, I believe. You know what? I could be getting my date. I think No Scrubs is a little later than I'm giving it credit for. I think No Scrubs is like 97, 98 maybe.
Right.
And No Pigeons was like 99. So that's on
Probably.
me. That's my bad. Yeah, that No Scrubs came out a little later. But I did like No Pigeons.
Yeah.
It's a good song. It's got a great beat.
But not as good as but just not as good as No Scrubs.
So.
All right, so if you could only listen to one group or artist in the gym for the rest of your life, every time you train, who is it?
It's easy for me. I mean, like you said, hard rock I love, EDM I love, but you got to be in a certain kind of mood.
Yeah.
Hip hop for me is like pizza. Like I'm always
good.
I'm always in the mood for pizza.
Yeah.
It's only noticeable when it's bad.
Right.
So that's an advantage right away. But Tupac is mine.
Really?
Yeah, I love Tupac. Love Tupac. And you know, I think if I'm going to listen to someone for the rest of my life, Tupac he's incredibly talented. His lyrics are amazing. He's got so many different kinds of beats. His songs can follow different tones. Some of them, Ambitions as a Rider, that's one of my favorite songs. That's very aggressive. And then, you know, Changes is a little more melody to it. So, like, he's just got a lot of different sounds. But I don't know. Like, I think he's incredible. I think he's, in my opinion, the greatest rapper of all time.
Yeah.
I know it's either him or Biggie in most people's minds that were born before the year 1996. But how about yours?
This was a tough one for me because I like so many different genres, but I do think that if I had to listen to one like genre or artist for the rest of my life, every time I trained, it would have to be hip hop as well, which I think a lot of people would have assumed I would have said Beyonce, but like a lot of her songs are too slow and would like annoy me. I'm just going to interrupt
you here. If you said Beyonce, I would hope my island was in the Atlantic Ocean and yours is in the Pacific Ocean.
So the way that I thought about this one was like, if I had to pick a Pandora station, right? Like where like the songs kind of like generate or whatever. And honestly, I think it would be Rick Ross. There isn't a Rick Ross song that I can't like heavy lift to or and he like collaborates with so many great artists. Like there's so many great
and he's got some different
Rick Ross
similar
songs.
To like the Tupac thing. He's got some different sounds. Like Stay Schemin' is a little more like it's a little softer.
Yep, and then you got like Every Day I'm Hustling or like Money in the Grave right now. That's out. Like, that's such a great song.
That is a good pump up song.
There's so many great
Not
even
a
like
huge Drake fan, so I didn't want to give it too much credit, but it's
But when it's like Drake with Rick Ross, and he's even like on like All I Do Is Win, which is like kind of a cheesier song, but it can get you in the mood when you want to. So like
he's got a very unique sound to him.
It's such a great
song.
Like
a boss?
Yes.
Do you like to play that song as you pull into work?
I do every day. So
that song is playing in Kara's head 24/7.
Well, it reminds me. I think one of the last times I trained you, so it was quite a few months ago. That song came on in the gym, and I was like, "Come on, Matt, this is your song," and you were like, "Nope, this is Kara's song."
Yeah, 100%
I think
Kara's
about
song.
that every time.
Yep.
So yeah, I think Rick Ross could be my like
That's
forever pick.
I'll give a close second, and then we'll get to some of these. This could wrap up the podcast.
Yeah, we're done now.
Kind of riveting discussion about this.
Let us know what yours are.
My close 50 Cent for me is a close second.
That's a good one.
I don't know. He just speaks to me. I
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
it. Probably because we have so
Well,
much in common.
You do. You've been hit with a few shells, but you
Yeah.
don't walk with a limp.
Yeah, it's all good.
I thought you were going to say Future.
Yeah.
I always think of Future when I think of the way you
I
work
think
out.
yeah.
But there's only a few songs.
Yeah,
He doesn't
he's got a
have,
select
like,
few
wide
songs,
enough.
and you know, I think for me, if I'm gonna listen to the person for the rest of my life on an island, I need to know that I'm not relying on the beat
Right,
alone.
right.
And I think with a lot of these modern guys, it's just a lot of the beats.
It's way too much, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just
Yeah.
I like the lyrics with the older guys
Right.
too. Nas, don't even get me started. Nas is great too.
Nas is a good one.
Nas is good.
Do you think that the gym has an anthem? When I think of the gym as in general, I think of Purple Lamborghini every time. And I've got a really big team. Like, those are two songs that I
Big
can
Rings?
like. Yeah, Big Rings. Yeah.
Well, the other one I think about is if we're gonna go down that rabbit hole is Fireball.
I just think of Gina.
Yep.
We had a trainer, Gina Tedesco. Shout out Gina, who like went nuts when Fireball would come on.
Yep.
That's a good one. That's a good one. And The Hum.
Yeah.
Is
Oh,
another
the Hum.
one.
Yeah, the Hum
is
yeah.
a good one.
That song gets me going. I like the Hum.
Yeah, that
it's-
one reminds me of Trainer James.
Yeah, James loved the Hum.
But yeah, I think Big Rings and Purple Lamborghini are the two that, like, when I think of the gym as a whole, I just think
Those are classics.
people go nuts.
All right, well, let's get to some of these real questions here, shall we?
Sure. And if anybody wants to send us what your list is, I want to hear from you guys.
So-
Tag us on Instagram.
This first one, I'm just going to throw this on you because I think it's more appropriate for you, given your current state. What is your favorite ergonomic work chair?
So right now, it's a physio ball. I'm going to be honest, because I'm trying to get this kid out of me. But I don't want to steal you. I'll let you just say what you're going to say about your favorite work chair.
Yeah, so I guess for starters, I can't name brands of chairs.
I
couldn't name one. What's that? No, I can't.
I
do
can't
it.
name
I can't
one
name
chair.
a brand of a chair.
I'm actually thinking of, and we already talked about this, but the Michael Scott, where he's looking at the chairs and picks out his favorite woman instead of a chair. But yeah, I'd say right now my favorite ergonomic work chair is a physio ball.
My favorite ergonomic work chair is get up and stretch.
Right.
Like,
right.
honestly, I don't sit down very long for
Right.
very often unless I'm in my car. And honestly, like, if you find, that's why this Apple Watch is awesome. It reminds me to stand.
Right,
It doesn't
right.
have to remind me very often, but when it does, I just think getting up, moving around, working on posture. I mean, I'm just giving you a real answer here.
Yeah.
I think if you're relying on your chair for back pain, you have some greater structural mobility issues going on that need to be addressed.
Yeah, for sure. Another question we have here is injury after injury is a huge physical and mental roadblock for me. Would love some input. And the reason why I wanted to ask this one is you just put out some really awesome content on your Instagram, I believe it was, and on Facebook about continuing to get like back injuries over and over. So if you haven't checked that out, get to Matt Phelps's Instagram and Facebook and check out that video. But yeah, what advice would you give if people are having mental roadblocks as they keep getting injured?
So I'm known for my analogies, and this one might be a little crude, but I like crude analogies because they hit home.
Yep.
Put yourself in a dark room in your house and put a blindfold on. Now I want you to sprint as fast as you can. Your odds are you're going to smash into a wall and it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Would you then get up, backpedal, and sprint again in the exact same direction? Or would you maybe pivot and try another direction to find the door? I'm going to go ahead and guess you'd pivot.
Right.
So why in the hell do people keep doing the same exercises over and over and over again that continue to cause them pain and hurt them? And I think, like, the number one thing with injury prevention is just knowing that anatomically we are all structured, we are all different, we all have unique bone structure, different body types. Some people have shoulder and hip impingement and they can't press overhead, or they can't do a certain squatting motion or a lateral lunge. Whatever that is for you, first and foremost, you got to address the dysfunction and what's wrong and try to remedy that through mobility and strengthening the appropriate musculature. So right away, I'd say, like, that's a big one. The other part is just being cognitive about your approach to training and thinking while you work out about what you are doing.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm lucky. Maybe I'm 5'8". I've been doing this for 20 years, working out. Well, yeah, just about a little over 20 years. And I don't have injury after injury because I know my limitations. And also when I train, I'm super aware of my form.
Right.
I think being careful about slowing down your eccentrics, the transition, making that ballistic between your concentric, like say you're doing a floor press, if you're just bouncing off the floor, you're slamming out of the bottom of a squat, those are ways to hurt yourself. And odds are you will, because at that point you're not thinking about your form, you're thinking about just getting something up. So, but in terms of coming back from injuries, I just think cut yourself some slack. You know, it's going to be a process. Once you understand the fit life and the fitness lifestyle that we lead, whether it's fat loss, muscle gain, gaining strength, rehabilitating an injury, this stuff all takes time. It's never an overnight process, and just pacing yourself and going slow is a good way to do it. And just putting those blinders on, not comparing yourself to anyone else. Maybe you can't do a lot of shoulder things, but maybe you're going to get your legs strong as hell.
Yeah.
Maybe you hurt your knee, but you're going to get jacked in your upper body.
Right.
Maybe you have some type of arthritis where you can't lift very heavy, so to speak, but you're going to really cut down on your rest periods to get into great cardiovascular shape. So you just got to find other ways that you can make those workouts a strength of yours.
Yeah, I think for sure. I think when you're coming back, I think one of the biggest mental roadblocks that you need to get over is your mental roadblock, where you have to let your ego go. And, you know, one, make sure that, you know, when you are cleared by the doctor, you're following your doctor's orders, you're not coming back too soon and then continuing to re-injure. You know, take the time that you need for yourself and your body to heal. That doesn't mean, as we've talked about before, that you can't go back into the gym. You just have to make sure you're doing other things and dropping your ego so that you're not continuing to injure yourself. And then I remember when I was an athlete, and I think I sprained my ankles a million times in athletics. But I remember going to the doctor, and he'd say, you know, when you go back to your sport and you're all healed, you know, you can't go back scared, because you're going to end up hurting yourself worse. You know what I mean? So if you're feeling good and you're going to go for something, I also think you need to go for it. You know, if you're swinging up a kettlebell scared and you're not using proper form and you're not thinking about it, then that probably means your body's not ready to use that weight yet. So you got to drop it back down. But when you're ready to go for it, you go for it.
Scared money don't make money.
That's it. Look at that. Gangster.
It's a cold world out there. This is a good question that this person had, kind of along the injury line. Falling off, when you fall off the wagon, you know, you're losing some gains after you had a setback. And I think this could be an emotional, mental, or physical setback. And you're losing focus on why you started. How do you reset your drive to work out?
For me, I think this is the one where you need to kind of like recheck your priority list and go back to, you know, your main purpose. And we've talked about looking for a greater purpose in working out than just losing weight or just what, you know, you have to find out what you're really looking to achieve or what your goal is to get back into the gym. Yeah, you
need a goal that's not aesthetic.
That's not aesthetic, right. So I think, you know, when you are starting to lose your focus, when you're getting down on yourself a little bit, when you feel like you've kind of lost your momentum, I think just kind of going back through that mental checklist of what is my why, and that why's got to be, you know, specific to you, and it's got to have some purpose to it. And then I think if you can latch onto that and then just get back in there. Don't be afraid to talk to people. Find a workout buddy or find a support group that, like, you know, hey guys, I'm falling off. I need help getting reset back on. And then kind of the more you get back into your workouts, the better you're going to feel, the more consistent you're going to be. And losing your gains, you'll get them back. That's nothing to be too. It can be discouraging, and I understand that, but it's harder than you think to lose those gains. And even if you've lost a little bit, you can absolutely always come back and get them back. So I think just finding your reason, understanding your why, using that to get you back in the gym, and then just being consistent. Set an alarm, make an appointment with yourself. It's like an important meeting that you can't miss with yourself every day. Get yourself in there to go, and the more consistent you are with it, the easier it's going to get.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I can relate to this one a little bit.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when I go off the rails with my eating, or, you know, maybe I had a cheat meal that wasn't planned or something like that, my desire to work out the next day, I see some people at the gym, and I guess this is the cool part about the psychology of it. Some people they're going to work out 3 times the next day. I'm just like, F it. Like,
right.
I'm just, screw it. Like,
right.
Because I know the damage I did was greater than anything I can undo.
Yeah.
But with that said, you know, if I instead had focused on, okay, well, I had a lot of cereal last night, but I'm It should be nice and fueled up today to really set a record on a floor press or
Right.
something like that. And take the focus off of your waistline or your scale weight or whatever, and just
Right.
put it onto something else. It's harder when you're not trying to get lean, because when you're lean, the shreds and the abs and everything like that, like you're motivated by that, and the
Sure.
pictures and like that alone can motivate you. But when you're not as lean and something like a setback occurs, that can be tough as well. So
Yeah.
definitely, something to consider. So
Yep.
I think we have time for one more question here.
Let's do. So, any tips on how to get over mental hurdles in the gym? I can get the big blue kettlebell up, but I can't squat it in a workout. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever seen someone who can get a kettlebell up into place that can't squat it. Have you?
Yeah. The only time I've seen it is like a before and after class kind of thing, and they can squat
Especially
it,
if
but I
this is
think
a woman,
within the
that's
workout.
I could see it with some of the guys, maybe.
Yeah.
But especially with the women, usually their legs are so much stronger than their upper body that if they can get it up there, they're going to squat.
Right. Well, I can say
least
so.
once.
When I was working on squatting Bertha, was Bertha? Yes, I got to a place where I could get it up, but I would get it down, but I couldn't get it back up. So I'd get stuck at the bottom.
Maybe I guess
so,
we should define, because I remember you trying to get it up and you made me nervous when that happened. So we should define, how are you getting it up
Right,
there?
I think
how pretty
that's the
is
start.
that? Are you getting it up clean? Because like we don't we have fun with it, but we don't really condone. If you're having to give yourself
a complete
for lack of
rainbow
better
back.
terms, a mastectomy when
Right.
you're getting up a kettlebell if you're a female. Like, yeah, that's maybe a little
Right.
heavy. Maybe we shouldn't be doing that.
Yes, and I think that's where I want to break this one down, because I think, like you said, just because you can get it up, are you really getting it up? How does it look? Are you getting it up cleanly?
Right.
And so what my recommendation would be, just like anything that you're training, start with the basics and break it down piece by piece. So maybe you're just doing a kettlebell clean and dropping it back down, and clean and dropping it back down, and until you can get that kind of swing up to the top. Once you have that clean, maybe you're doing clean, do the bottom half of a squat, iso hold, drop it down, or you kind of break down the movement until you can do it well. And maybe you're just swinging it up to the top a couple times, and then you're hitting squats with one kettlebell below it to help build your strength, with a 3-second hold at the bottom and driving up to the top. I think a lot of people, because with metabolic training we're doing it within the workout, people think it's just going to happen within the workout. But I think you can do some things warming up before, after class, to help build your strength, to allow yourself to do that. Because if you can't do it in the workout, that's okay. And it doesn't mean that you're wrong or you're bad or you can't do something, but you have to work up to it, I think.
Yeah, I think, and there's not enough information here, really.
Right.
Like where are you failing? Are you failing
Right.
at the top, at the bottom? Like, are you failing as you start to go down? You just lose it off your chest. To me,
Right.
that would imply that your abs and upper back aren't quite strong enough yet to handle
Right.
that. But if you're losing it at the bottom, which I think is a little abnormal, I haven't
Right.
seen that a lot. But just working on strength training properly to get
That's
your
it.
legs stronger, being a little more intense with your single leg Bulgarian split squats, single leg box squats, everything like that.
Right.
Really trying to just focus on getting your legs stronger.
Right.
But the degree of the technical component goes up tremendously with not only preventing injury, but executing the lift.
Yes.
Like your upper back and your abs, they need to be engaged as hell when you're
Crazy.
using those heavy weights. And I can tell you firsthand, for heavy goblet squats, I suffer from the same thing. I can do our 153-pound kettlebell 5, maybe 6 reps on a good day, but I'm not one of those guys that can
Right.
bang it out because my upper back just isn't there.
Right.
So
Well,
it's just,
yeah.
you got to have a upper back that's strong as shit if you're
Right.
doing a weight that's pretty heavy. Like
Yeah,
that.
and I think that's one thing that a lot of the women in particular in the gym need to understand, is that like you said, legs are strong as hell, but when you look at the size of the kettlebell compared to the size of some ladies' backs, the kettlebell is bigger and wider than they are. So it's not so much that your legs can't handle it. It's just that just ergonomically it doesn't make sense. So that doesn't mean that you're not strong. It just
Yeah.
means that it's hard as hell to hold that kettlebell
And
in place.
your tip was really good too about the progressions. When I was in grad school and we learned how to do a hang clean, we definitely learned it in phases over weeks. We did high pulls, we did RDLs.
Right, right.
We jumped into it. It took a while, in other words. Like, there was like 17 steps to it. And this is pretty much sort of like a hang clean if you're going to do it properly. So I would suggest start doing some swings with the kettlebell. Maybe progress to some high pulls.
Yep.
Maybe you try to catch it a couple times if you're confident you can get it high enough. But if you can't even swing it high enough to chest level where you need to be, it's not going to happen safely. So you got to kind of work on it in that level. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Metabolic Experience Podcast. Thank you so much for listening, guys. We truly do appreciate it, and we will catch you next time.